TPCSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
2,000 years long, we will never settle. Hard days, no rain with a heavy metal. No time, no fail, won't stop here. Like a torch to a flame when it burns hot. We won't stop, come on, baby, higher. Like a torch to a flame when it burns hot. We won't stop.
Excuse me, Mr. DJ.
Check this out. We got a great show coming your way.
From the ECSI Sports Studios and the #1 sports investors in America, we bring you the closing bell. As the market closes, legends Jeff Dawson and Riley Magnuson bring you all the sports investing tips for tonight's matchups. If you want to learn more from the two legends at the desk, make sure you stay tuned to the closing bell.
Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the co-host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and it's that time of the day for the closing bell with myself and Riley Magnuson. As we get you caught up in an absolutely crazy game in Atlanta for Game 1. And shout out to Terry Smith, who was on this morning at 11 o'clock, CEO, founder of Atlanta Steak and Seafood. At the game, and the highs and lows, and I'm going to talk to, obviously, lead off with Riley with this, but think of this. Braves fan, up 2-0, top of the 8th, and you're getting jiggy with it, and you're like, damn, we're going to the playoffs. Mets score 6. It's 6-2. Now you're like this, shit, now at least Chris Sale's going to save us for Game 2. Well, you go and score 5. Take the lead back, and then Lindor says, hold my beer in the 9th. It's a 2-run homer. They win 8-7. And I coached as far as Legion Baseball. I went from T-ball all the way up to Legion Baseball. And it's very simple, Coach. You get Chris Sale up, loosened, lathered up. He comes in and closes the 9th. If you lose, then he starts Game 2. Well, there must have been a problem because you lost the game and then Chris Sale was scratched. Back spasms. Welcome to Boston, Chris. I mean, you did this to us all your career with us. Riley's smiling back there because there was a few of those back there in Chicago. Anyways, shout out to our proud sponsor and partnerships. It's WagerWire. Head on over to Google Play. Download the app. It's free. I promise you, Travis, Zach, myself will take good care of you. Viva Tequila Seltzer. CT Bets, that team and family, second to none. The East Coast is cuckoo for coconut. And, of course, Terry Smith, Atlanta Steak and Seafood. Jump on over to Facebook. Follow Terry Smith. Follow Atlanta Steak and Seafood. Introduce yourself. Tell them JD from ECSI sent you. Use the promo code CUSTOMER. 15% off your total order of $199 and more. I promise you, it's worth the effort. Well, without further ado, Mr. Southside Riley. What's up, champ?
What is up, my friend? Happy Monday afternoon. Yeah, it is some playoff baseball that or some basically playoff baseball that if this doesn't get you geared up for the next few weeks of actual playoff baseball, then I don't know what is going to do it, my friends. No, that is absolutely about as wild a game as you can get. Yeah, to your point, none better than to, sympathize with Braves fans about Chris Sale than us two over here, my friend. So can't believe that. I can't believe it, but yeah, after the season he had and leading up to this point, can't believe that. They are up 1-0 obviously now. So still in position to be in position potentially here. So obviously we'll monitor it throughout the show here, and it'll keep going on, leading us right into Monday Night Football. So if you're getting off work early and you're 9 to 5, you've got a nice afternoon leading right into some Monday Night Football tonight.
Well, I'm going to go on record. I call bullshit. I call no back spasms. The Braves say, hey, if we can't win with the Mets already in, starting Lucchesi, and then we got Chris Sale pitching tomorrow, so I call bullshit on the Braves. I think he's fine. They're going to try to win without him so he can pitch on Tuesday. How's that sound?
I actually think that's totally fair. I feel like they didn't have to say back spasm, and then if anything, throw him in the last 4 innings of this game if it's an emergency, and you need him to win this game, in a pinch like that. I don't know. So I'm with you. I would not be surprised if we see him one of the next 2 days here, if not tomorrow here. As long as they can get through, like you said, Mets should have their foot off the gas the rest of this game here, but. If they make it through, they'll be heading to San Diego for they at least get the good grace as long as they get through of not having to play until the late game tomorrow. Whereas the Mets, depending on where they're going, but if that is how it goes, the Mets have to play in Milwaukee at 4:30 tomorrow, so a little less rest time for them there. So interested to see how it goes. We've got 4 games no matter what tomorrow, so it is going to be a fun week and obviously a fun few weeks here.
I can't wait. It was a joy to see the 4-game slate. Of course, people bitching, yelling, screaming, why is this team starting at 2:30? Why is it start? Just shut up and enjoy the baseball games, will you? I mean, they cry and complain over everything. People crying because there's 2 football games, one starting at 7 and one starting at 8. What? Just enjoy it if you can find where the games are, right, Riley?
That's right. I'll be all right. I've got I'll have both games on tonight, so I am not upset when we get some double headers on Monday nights here. But it's re-entry Monday, as you like to say, my friend. Recap Monday, whatever you want to call it. Plenty of stuff going on this weekend in not just football but everywhere else.
Yeah, re-entry Monday. I'm stealing it from Mr. Felger and Mass 98.5, the Sports Hub, #1, not just in New England, all the way up the East Coast, up to WFAN. And I'm going to start ass backwards here. President's Cup, we were live on Thursday. USA 5-0. It's over. It's a romp. International says, to hold my beer, 5-5. And now we got a match. And I know Cam came on. I know Brady Kannon came on. Cam tried to get cute, 3.5 plus for the International with the U.S. winning by 3. You're set up going into Saturday saying, damn, I am smart as a whip. U.S. opened up a can and never looked back, Riley.
Yeah, that's right. And they kind of said it. I mean, and I think you even they didn't say that they were out partying after Thursday night and had some fun. You did say that, and I think that was accurate. They I think it was Saturday after. I can't remember if it was after the first half of play or after the second half, where they kind of took them a little lightly, and then obviously came into Saturday saying, "Screw this, we're not doing that again. We're we're waking up with a vengeance here." So they did, and it was exciting stuff. It's no matter how many TVs you got, it's still hard to squeeze in some golf on a football Saturday and a little NFL Sunday. Had better luck on Saturday. If it was tighter on Sunday, I would have had to try and squeeze them in. So I only watched a little bit on Sunday to watch them clinch. But if it was closer, I would have had to squeeze them in. But nonetheless, it was a fun weekend, and I think this is just going to springboard this into generating some popularity for the President's Cup going forward.
Again, it's not the Ryder Cup. Ryder Cup will be at Bethpage in New York next year, and I hope to be there. I put in my application. We'll see. I got tickets. Well, I was awarded tickets for the last Ryder Cup, and then I saw their prices. I was like, I'll watch it on TV. I'm all set, but we'll see what they do for Bethpage. UFC. I have to be honest, I didn't see much, but I got to go right to the main event because Lou, and the rest of the world, the main event, this was going to be a walk in the park. This was going to be nothing but destruction. I saw a before and an after round one. Now, did his opponent come in with anvil in his hands, a sledgehammer? What in holy hell happened?
You know what? It looked like the way it looked like was the opposite outcome of what we expected to happen. Exactly what happened. Moicano looked like everyone expected Saint Denis to come out and look like. I don't know if Benoit Saint Denis is who lost. He was what, minus 300 favorite or something like that in his home country. The crowd's going ballistic for him. The crowd's going ballistic as he's getting his face beat to a pulp in the first round, trying to get him frenzied up and woken up here. But I mean, he didn't come out with any fire, and Moicano did, and popped him at least one. I mean, he popped him. I don't know how many times, significant strikes, but got him good once or twice very early in the first round, and he kind of just put Saint Denis in a daze that he couldn't really wake up from. Second round, I mean. The one thing that you could say is because it was doctor stoppage after 2 rounds. The second round was kind of 50-50, and you might even say it went to Saint Denis. I mean, if the average round is 10-9, the first one, I mean, it was I don't know, 12-7. Obviously that's not something you could say, obviously, but you get my point where that's how lopsided the first round. Second round was kind of a toss-up, kind of conservative energy, trying to get back into the fight, and then Doctor got a giant gash about this wide above his eyebrow and couldn't see out of his one eye. He did the how many fingers am I holding up, I think, and covered up the one, and he couldn't do it. So, but, I mean, he just beat him to an absolute pulp, and there was nothing he could do. And I don't know if he just didn't have that firepower right out of the gates and then got stunned and didn't get it back or what. But he just didn't have it, and it was shocking to see in his home crowd. So it was a shocking result. Moicano, all the credit to him. He looked solid. I expect Benoit Saint Denis to bounce back, but now that's 2 in a row where you get the lights beat out of you. So sometimes guys just can't get that fire back after that. But I think we'll have a good idea next time. I don't know what the outlook of who he would be fighting next is, but still a very good fighter. He's whatever I said the other day, 28, 29 years old. So plenty of road ahead of him here. So. I've enjoyed watching him up until these last 2 fights, but hasn't came out with these that same firepower these last 2. So depending on who it is, could be a good time to jump on him. But until further notice, he is not as much of a rising star as we had thought, at least at this point, my friend.
And the rest of the card, any surprises, any shockers, any ho-hums? What'd you say?
Yeah, there were some ho-hums. I told you I had a couple of plus 110s that I was interested. Got the one that I was a little less confident in than the one I was more confident in. So, nothing too crazy there. But, yeah, for the most part, ho-hum. Kudabala, one of the bigger names, got a decent win there. Imavov, the co-main event, unanimous decision, pretty ho-hum there. So, I don't think, and again, some of these I wasn't as locked into the entire card with college football going on, but was popping in here and there. So there was a few knockouts, but again, the card wasn't as star-studded even for a fight night as you might like there. So this was kind of a decent one to skip, but again, there's always good action on these cards, even when it is kind of ho-hum. So we'll move on to the next week, but yeah, nothing too crazy this time around.
In that women's one, what was it, Cannoli versus, is that the Calvacala or whatever? She was like 3-1 favorites, or am I putting the two together?
That was one of the first one. I don't think I saw that fight. That was, I think, the second fight of the night. Cornole and Cavalcanti split decision there. So I actually didn't see that one at all.
Who won that fight, though? Was it Cavalcanti?
Yep, split decision, Cavalcanti.
Okay. They'll be back in Salt Lake City this week. Utah and Lou will be back here at 3 o'clock. And while I'm saying that, Ron Momorlewski will be here Friday at 5 o'clock, back to his old time. He is away, but we're going to squeeze in a show with him Friday at 5 instead of Thursday at 5 there. College football, might as well just go to the meat and potatoes. I said all week, I say it again. If you liked Alabama, you better have grabbed Mr. Milroe at 7-1 for your Heisman Trophy. At halftime, he went to the favorite to plus 250. He is now currently still the favorite. If you went to bed at halftime singing, she'll be coming around the mountain or whatever they sing in Alabama and thinking, wow, this is the best team since sliced bread. Georgia did come back. They did take the lead. Georgia couldn't have played any worse in the first half. Carson Beck couldn't have played any worse. Had an amazing second half. Took the lead, and then Jalen just said, hold my beer. And I'm going to, the wide receiver, the name's slipping my mind. The only thing that I know is he's 17 years old, had two defenders collide. He hit the spin button and went 70-plus yards for a touchdown, and Bama comes back and wins that game.
Yeah, no, it was absolutely bonkers. I mean, there's plenty of people who I know, whether you went to bed or just turned the damn game off for other stuff. I think there was plenty of people that were kicking themselves that they didn't stick with it there. So elsewhere, I mean, Ole Miss, probably the biggest loser of the weekend, man, at home against Kentucky, who no slouch, no disrespect to Kentucky, just not there. I mean, they've had some much bigger years of higher anticipation, but for a team in Ole Miss who's looking for that top 12 college football playoff, for some of the games they've got ahead, that was at home was not one that they could afford to lose. They've got a tough one. They are favored. I think it's 9 is the line right now at South Carolina this upcoming week. No, over a touchdown favorite, but no walk in the park there. They've got to go to LSU. They got Oklahoma coming to town, and they've got Georgia on the schedule later there. So, obviously, if you're still in love with this Ole Miss team, then still a path to get there. But a tough sledding so far in this loss going forward.
Mr. Saylor goes, I pulled the dad move and slept through the second half. I had one eye open, one eye, and I actually had the split screen. I have YouTube, so I had a couple games going on. I had the volume there, so I was falling asleep. I did wake up and see when Georgia took the lead, did see the closing touchdown. So I'll be honest, I didn't see much of that third period. You did talk about the shocker, of course, with Ole Miss. We had their team total over. We had a tough day, 2-3 on the day. That Ole Miss game was for the 3-2 or 2-3. So 2-3 coming off back-to-back Saturdays, 4-1 on team totals there. Penn State, they won. They didn't do it in the fashion. Another team total we lost. Illinois is playing well. They're playing well there, so hats off to them. Boise State with an ass whooping on Washington State. This running back's got like 13 touchdowns and a bazillion yards already. And UCLA is who we thought we were. Oregon 3-touchdown win. I guess I'll go back to Friday. Miami gifted a win against Virginia Tech.
I would say so. I mean, with how close that was the one on the schedule that, or the way it was shaping up, the way it was going, where, you're getting like this late in that game if you're a Miami fan. So, 10-point lead deep into the third quarter there for Virginia Tech. So absolutely, man. And then the only thing I was going to say with that Illinois-Penn State game, Penn State, like you said, wins. I think maybe this was a scare they needed, but Illinois kind of just like a cockroach. They don't die. They don't go away. They couldn't do anything in the second half offensively, but I don't know how many times where they cough it up offensively, then you say, oh, man, that's the game. And then 2 minutes later, here they are down 7 with the ball again. The crazy part, and again, they couldn't do anything offensively, so I think Penn State still would have been fine. They had the ball tied 7-7 in the final minute of the first half, and then just shot themselves in the foot to the point where they lost field goal range, or I can't remember if they got out of field goal range or if they missed a field goal, but should have been leading going into the half, Illinois there. So wild one there. And then, Oregon, obviously a nice win there. Ohio State, don't even pay attention to them. They go going away. And then Wisconsin, USC. Wisconsin had a little bit of a scare at halftime, 21-10, I think it was, on USC. And then offense shuts down, calls it a day the rest of the way for Wisconsin, and USC wakes up. So, and then your Cornhuskers take care of business for the most part against Purdue there. I know it was 0-0 at half, so it was a little bit of a weird one there, and then just a wild fourth quarter finally.
Yeah, and Nebraska wins that one. And it was funny. Friday, I did say Virginia Tech team total over 17.5 plus 115. I'm not releasing it. They got me once. They got me twice. I'm not getting the banana in the tailpipe. They had that covered by the second quarter. So anyone that was watching and listening, congrats to that. NFL, my day was ruined. 4 o'clock, 4:20. Racey Rice goes down trying to tackle an interception from Mahomes. Mahomes is the one that takes him out, unfortunately. They haven't released, or I didn't see. It looked like ACL done for the year. They had already lost Pacheco, already lost Hollywood Brown. Doesn't look good for Racey Rice. Now the speculation, who are they going to bring over via trade? Deontay Johnson. Amari Cooper would only be a $600,000 casualty. What is going on in Chicago with DJ Moore and Caleb? There's something going on there. He's sitting by himself at the end of the bench, no one near him. He's wide open half the dozen times, and Caleb's not even looking his way. If there's a problem there, I know he got paid this year, and he's got 80-something million guaranteed, but the Chiefs somehow, some way are 4-0, and they need a number one wide receiver, Riley.
Right. No, it's bizarre, and the body language is bad, and I don't think anyone's questioning how good DJ Moore is either. So I don't know if it's again, I do watch a decent amount of the Bears games. I'm obviously not a Bears fan, but I still do watch a decent amount of games. Didn't have as close of an eye on that one yesterday as I typically do with those games, but the body language is off. I mean, to give the benefit of the doubt, no other receiver had more than 3 catches. It was DeAndre Swift who was the leading receiver there, but obviously that doesn't excuse the body language, the sitting alone, and now this isn't the first week that we've seen some kind of disdain there. I don't know if that's the word you want to call it or what. So, again, I don't know if that's directed towards Caleb or if that's offensive coordinator Waldron. I mean, it sounded like, again, I don't know who was involved in the meeting, but it sounded like some of the Bears offensive players had a meeting with Waldron to kind of, give their opinion on the game plan going forward there. So they looked obviously better. They protected the ball well. Wasn't a very prolific attack. You had the one big run from DeAndre Swift, and aside from that, kind of just a whole hump grinded out game from him. So Swift was fantastic there, but I mean, Rome Odunze only 1 catch, Keenan Allen 3 catches is his return there. So I am curious. I would be shocked if the Bears, after how they got him in the package that they, the little that it took to get him on top of everything else that they got back. I would be shocked if they got rid of him, but at the end of the day, if they're happy with where Keenan Allen is going forward, they obviously like Rome Odunze, then, maybe he is a little expendable if you get the right package for him. But I would be real surprised. There would have to be a serious rift between him and Caleb Williams that's irreparable for them to move on from him.
And I'm going to shake this thing up here. Last year, we listened to how could you draft Bryce Young over C.J. Stroud. Now, Stroud in Houston has looked a little shaky the last couple of weeks here. Sure. Bryce Young benched for Andy Dalton. I think we're going to start the talk of Caleb versus Jaden Daniels. Now, Jaden Daniels is making this thing look way too easy now. Now, again, Crack was on this morning. He's never done this. Live bet. He goes, everyone, in 1 minute, we're going to move some numbers. He bet Cleveland live on our show this morning at 3.5, and within 15 seconds, everyone dropped to 3. So it's kind of funny. He moved numbers live on our show, but Jaden Daniels, good Lord, is he making things look easy in Washington?
Yeah, and it's fun, and for any Terry McLaurin fantasy owners, the usage and the target share there is increasing as well. Obviously, when they're efficient and they're keeping the ball and all things considered, then everything's going to go up. But he has been, Terry McLaurin, the connection there, been looking a lot better as well. And that's really part of it. I mean, the first couple of weeks, it wasn't quite as hot on schedule and everything. And part of it was as there was a few just misses with Terry McLaurin. So I'm not saying that he's the most important part of the offense, but when you're getting that guy who's, I guess I don't know where you're ranking him in the top 10 to 20 receivers, but certainly top 20, if not arguably top 10 receiver in the game potentially there. That's obviously helping there. So No, it always goes. You got a little bit of different because neither of them really panned out the way you would expected. But Mariota Winston debate raged on forever. Andrew Luck and RG3 forever there. So the debate's for sure going to go, especially as long as they're going there. I even as someone who's been a Bears quarterback, I guess I don't know what the word is, laughing at the circumstances for a long time. I do think Caleb Williams is going to be fine long term here. And I'm not going to judge too much here, but it doesn't help when you're looking at the outlook where, Jaden Daniels, you're you're sleeping so well if you're a Washington fan. I think Bears fans, every Bears fan I talk to, isn't concerned, but obviously you're not getting that affirmation that no doubt this guy is already looking like a stud and he's going to be for 15 years to come. I think he'll be fine, and I think they'll have him for a long time, but there's going to be some if things continue like this and it's not prolific. Obviously, there's going to be some coaching changes again before any other changes there. But at the end of the day, they've got the weapons, so that you can't blame it on the weaponry there. If anything, you just got to keep improving that offensive line to help them out. If anything, there in Chicago.
162 people knocked out of the circa. There's just over 400. 110 on the Jets, who Sean Payton and Bo Nix, who threw for 60 yards or something stupid, win, and it was back to old, and I'm using the word old, Aaron Rodgers. 13 penalties, 10 on the offense, like 5 or 6 false starts, whining because it's raining. Breece Hall, non-factor. Typical there. Who else? Jets had 110. Cardinals 36, Steelers 8, Browns 7, Bills waxed last night by O. Henry, first play 80-yard touchdown, and the Ravens look like that Ravens team of last year. But I got to go to Green Bay because I talk about it. I talk about fragile. I talk about soft, and I actually moved because I had a Jordan Love team. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give you one more shot, kid. I moved Christian Watson in, goes for a catch. Coach, now it's an ankle. See you in November. I'm done. I'm telling you, if he was the last guy on the waiver wire, I would not pick him up. I would not drive him across the street right now.
I get it. He did get rolled up pretty bad. This is a little different circumstances. I'm with you, but I'm not blaming you as far as not touching him anymore because it's not like he's looked great to this point this season anyways. So it'd be different if he had 3 games where he has, 6 catches, 80 yards, and a couple touchdowns, but that's not the case, obviously, either. Jaden Reed has emerged as the dude in that offense as far as weapon goes. Tucker Kraft looked solid yesterday. So I'm with you. He did get – I thought his knee was about to burst, at the seams on the play that had happened there. But likely he's going to be out for 4 to 6 weeks is kind of what I saw already, high ankle sprain. So probably going to be the case again. As far as that game is concerned, obviously the Vikings come out and smack him in the mouth. Jordan Love still banged up. Looked a lot better in the second half, but still banged up. Shaking some of the rust off there, just out of sync a little bit in the first half. But credit to the Vikings defense, looked fantastic. That offense did whatever they needed to do, capitalized on some mistakes there. Packers a little banged up in the secondary, but not a huge excuse to make there. So not worried about the Packers going forward, but this Vikings team is for real. I mean, there were some Sam Darnold moments where probably should have thrown a couple more or had a couple more mistakes that the Packers dropped on defense though there. So curious to see what the ceiling is and how Sam Darnold plays going forward. But defense is good. Aaron Jones looks healthy and fantastic. Part of the reason the Packers moved on from him was some of the nagging health injuries. He looks absolutely fantastic. Again, I'm not worried about the Packers going forward, but as far as the division championships and leading division goes, especially with now 4-0 Vikings and the Lions above them, we may be looking at that wild card sooner rather than later.
And of course, I have Addison in one spot. I says I want to give him a week. Yeah, good job, Coach. 2 touchdowns there. If you're in a soft league or you have Mr. Wicks out there, you go run and grab Mr. Wicks real quick. He's been waiting for this, and he will thrive. Again, Reed, Kraft, both had big games. But again, Wicks and Dubs will be a factor. Yeah. But I'm a big Wicks guy. He looked pretty damn good yesterday.
Yeah, he actually had 2-3 two easy, maybe not easy, two should have had catches to move the sticks. So he should have had more catches yesterday. He had a tough one in the end zone than he could have had. So production could have been even higher. Romeo Dobbs is going to be a little more inconsistent for you there, but I'm excited about Tucker Kraft moving forward. I told you, especially when Jordan Love is in the lineup, his numbers and his snap count usage is definitely enough to where he becomes kind of right around if you've been hurting that tight end in your fantasy league, and Kraft is, I'm sure he's going to be a hot waiver wire item now after the game he had yesterday. But if you've had him stashed on your bench and you've been dying at tight end with Jordan Love in, you can start to use Tucker Kraft and get some legit usage out of him.
McCaffrey has arthritis, tendonitis now in both legs. Who the hell knows what's going on there as they lambaste the hapless Patriots there. Currently, bottom of the fourth, Atlanta holding on to a 1-0 lead. Must win to advance to the next round. Otherwise, the Diamondbacks are in. Scotty will be coming up shortly. Two games in the NFL today. 7:30 Tennessee to Miami. Currently open to 2.5, now 2.5 again. A flat 37. Team totals Tennessee 17.5, juice under -125. Miami a flat 20. Someone put the tweet up and I totally forgot. Last time Tennessee was in Miami, I think it was like a Monday night game or a Thursday night game. Miami dominating the game, and Tennessee scored 2 late touchdowns to come back and win that game. I don't know if you remember that. Levis versus who? Boyle tonight, or Clam Boyle, or whatever it is.
I think Tyler Huntley, right?
Oh, that's right. Snoop Huntley. That's right. Snoop's in the house. So, again, I did see Tennessee favored a little earlier in the week, and then Snoop was announced. So, not expecting a lot of fireworks there. I do have some A-chains. I do have a Waddle. I do have a Hill. Thoughts on that game, Riley?
Yeah, that first one is going to be interesting. I mean, Tyler Huntley in the past came in. It was kind of the perfect scenario where he fit into as a backup into the most we saw him was in Baltimore. Kind of fit in pretty damn well as a backup in that system behind Lamar Jackson. Kind of came in, didn't have to change much of the offense, and it kind of worked seamlessly. So we saw some good stuff from him. Obviously, not as good with him as they were with Lamar, but you know what I mean there. So I'm curious to see what the situation looks like for him. I'm not expecting too much. His over/under on passing is right around 170, something like that. So like you said, not going to be a very, very prolific game here. I mean, for Tennessee, it kind of comes down to, and maybe they don't let him throw too many times, but the back-breaking mistakes from Will Levis so far has been the story of their season. Last week against the Packers, Packers just played better than them. But the first 2 weeks, you could absolutely argue they played better than Chicago in week 1. And then you could argue they played as well, if not better, than the Jets in week 2. And if it wasn't for a back-breaking mistake, they could win that game there. So, I'm a little torn on this one altogether. I'm not sold on Will Levis, so that kind of goes right there. It's got to be, if he doesn't make any mistakes, then Tony Pollard's probably going to step up in this rushing attack and Spears and play really solid here. So I'll lean towards the Dolphins with some desperation, but I'm throwing my hands up here. This is the one that I of all the 4 weeks of NFL games, this might be the one that I've had the least confidence in what's going to happen tonight, my friend.
Well, I'm going to start with the Big O, the tight end for Tennessee. First touchdown and anytime touchdown.
For Okonkwo? Is that what you said?
Yes.
17-1 first time, 380 anytime.
All right, and on the Miami side, I'm going to probably go chalk here. First and any, I'll go with A-Chain tonight.
A-Chain, 450 for a first time, even money for an anytime. I will go ahead. I'll kind of flip it and go chalk with the Titans. I like my man Tony Pollard to have a nice game tonight. I'll go 750 for a first time, 160 for an anytime. And then I'll get a little interesting with the Dolphins. I'll go Tyler Huntley for a little read option or a little scramble, 11-1 for the first time, and 285 for the anytime.
I like where your eyes are. 8:15 Detroit hosting Seattle. Great game. Seattle 3-0 under Geno Smith. Opening number 4 with a 47. Currently 4 with a 47 at the Circa. Team totals. I have Seattle 21.5 juice under minus 125. I got Detroit 25.5 minus 25 cents. Initially, this did have that 24-21 feeling towards it. Kenneth Walker back. Sam Laporta back. I expect a bounce back from Jameson Williams, so I'm going to take Detroit's Jameson Williams first touchdown, anytime touchdown.
Jameson Williams 13-1 on the first time, 245 on the anytime there.
And for Seattle, I like the way he's trending. DK had a big one last week. I'm going to go in Jigba first touchdown and anytime.
I like it. 19-1 first time, 255 anytime. But I like that one as well. Interesting thing about this game and what the perception on these teams are. Seattle obviously 3-0, but hasn't played all three teams that you're looking at to this point. You're not exactly afraid of their list of teams that they've played. Kind of played in week 1 and 2, anything can happen. But as far as the perception goes, played a Denver team that obviously has not looked, they're 2-2, but has not looked fantastic to this point offensively. Beat a Patriots team that since that point has looked bad, and then beat a Miami team with a bad quarterback situation there. So, I'm curious to see. I don't want to say I'm worried about the Seahawks defense, but we could see a really nice offensive performance from the Lions here tonight. So I don't know what to expect. I expect the Seahawks to put up a really good fight, and at the end of the day, I could see this kind of being teetering on the cover spot there. So it could be down to the wire to see if Seattle covers down 10. Maybe they sneak in the back door or something like that. That's kind of where I'm at with this one here. So I think the Lions win, but another one that I'm not sold on. Still waiting to see. I mean, this is kind of the measuring stick for this Seattle team of where we're at with them. And Detroit themselves, winning games and looking solid, but hasn't been dominant for the most part there. Kind of played with their food against Arizona. Obviously, I'm drawing a blank on who they lose to, but they're 2-1. They lose in week 1 or 2 there. I'm drawing a blank on who it was, and then a couple of wins they had, just not looking very dominant this year so far.
Yeah, and I said it this morning. I don't think they've caught their stride. This is the game that I think they catch their stride. Sam Laporta been a non-factor. What's Sam's anytime touchdown?
Sam's anytime touchdown. It was Tampa that they lost to. Sorry, just had to pull that up there. Laporta anytime 205, 11-1 first time, 205 anytime.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to get him going as well. 11-1 first time and 205 there. Baseball 4 games tomorrow. I will have Andrew McGinnis from Wager Talk on at 11, and at 11:30 Scotty Webb will be back to talk about the 4 games and give us some thoughts what he thinks might be standing for the NL and AL championships and potentially the World Series there. Closing thoughts, sir.
Closing thoughts, I guess I'll go. I got to give my touchdown scores out of this game for Seattle and Detroit here. I do like Jackson Smith and Jigba, but I'll go over to I'll go DK 14-1, 180 for DK, and then I'll keep it mostly simple for the Lions. Amon-Ra 8-1. He's playing fantastic. 8-1 and plus 135. And then other than that, just another week of rocking along. Another great week coming ahead. As you mentioned, not the most star-studded pay-per-view event, but there is a pay-per-view event for the UFC this weekend, and it is a solid one. So definitely plenty of stuff to talk about there. And then obviously plenty of stuff as far as college football and the NFL is concerned. We've got some solid games in both categories. Still waiting for a big one again here in the Big Ten, but we've got plenty of solid matchups. We're going to start to see a couple upsets, I think, in the Big Ten soon. Maybe one this week, my friend.
Well, and of course, for fantasy people in football, the bye week start this week in the London game. So we got that 9:30 start, and then 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock. So already we will be in October. Tomorrow is October. It's the last day today of September. Mr. Saylor says, ironic coincidence from Pittsburgh versus Indy. Flacco was hurt versus Pittsburgh in 18 and lost his starting job to the running QB. Flacco hurt his hip. Yeah, and again, I was watching the Colts and I saw Richardson get hurt. He comes off the field, in comes Flacco. He comes back, I think, 2 plays later, and then he's running, and before he could get hit, he dropped. I thought it might have been a kidney, a laceration or something. They're saying a hip. Russell, you just can't get that ship going. Now Taylor injures the same ankle that it was that he had surgery on in 22. I am a Taylor fan. I have him in a couple spots. I do have Trey Sermon, but he's no Jonathan Taylor, so we'll have to take a look there. Downs looks healthy, so that is at least with him and Pittman, some help hopefully on the way there. Flacco can sling it with the best of them, control the ball. I don't know. We'll have to wait for the injury report to see the injury on Taylor. The MASH units are out. I mean, injuries, more injuries. We're holding out prayers for Racy Rice, but I don't expect some good news there, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Scotty Webb will be back here in 15 minutes for In the Batter's Box. He's going to get ready. Actually, I think he posted on Twitter at 6 o'clock, so we got 2 minutes here. Shout out to Mr. Saylor, everyone else watching this show. Standing room only. Can't thank you enough. If you haven't already, head on over to YouTube and subscribe. It's free. Me and Riley will be back Tuesday, 5 o'clock. So for myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, the one and only Riley Magnuson at Riley_Magnuson, the one. We wish everyone a blessed day. Top 5. Braves won, Mets nothing. Braves got to hold on, otherwise the D-backs will be playing tomorrow.